I've known for years, and he's good at what he does. Guitarist. How are you, my brother?
I'm okay, my brother, and you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So, for people who don't know you, who are you? Who are you?
I am Boikie, and then I am a guitarist. All-rounder guitarist actually for Nofundo more at the moment, and then before her, I've worked with artists like Lady Zamar. I've shared stages with AKA the late AKA. I've shared stages with Amanda Black, Questa. The list is long at the moment, but those are quite a few that I can mention.
Yeah, those are heavy names. Those are big names. So let's take it to the beginning. Where does the music box hit you? When does this music thing start for you?
The music thing starts for me from church, man. I grew up the IPHC. I grew up here. I started playing guitar for the first time when I was 8 years old. Yeah, 8 years old. Yeah, that's when I started playing, and then I started playing at church. And then from church I grew, and then came to Pretoria. When I started coming to Pretoria, that's when I started doing started playing for artists, and yeah, that's where it actually started for me.
Yeah, the 8 years is very, very young. So who are you listening to as far as like artists got 8 years?
At 8 years, I was listening to people like Jimmy Lulu, Oliver Mduguzi, George Benson, Norman Brown, even IPCCs, and Tate Nikintuli. I was listening to those people when I was growing up. Those were my biggest motivations at that time.
Oh, that's good. And like I just heard like recently that you were nominated for an award. You wanna take us through that? How was that for you? Knowing that you've played a guitar for the longest of time, just being acknowledged as someone who's one of those great guitarists that we have in SA. Like how was that feeling?
It was overwhelming, to be honest. I couldn't register it in my mind for quite some time. I didn't understand. At first I thought, no man, I don't actually deserve this. But then as time went, I actually realized it's something that I deserve, not to be like too proud of myself, but when I look back at where I've been and how far I've come, I realized, it's been a long road. And the awards were they were called the Backing Vocalist and Session Musicians Awards, yes, BVSM, by the legendary Miss Yvonne Chaka Chaka. To be nominated in those awards meant a big thing for me, because to be recognized by people like her, it means a lot. It means that my work is being noticed by even the legends that I didn't even know they could recognize my work. So it was a big thing for me.
Yeah, no, that's very huge, bro. Like, as far like I just wanna know again. You were speaking about working with artists like AKA Lady Zama. Like, how's that entire experience? Like working with some of the biggest artists.
It's also one of the overwhelming things that you don't realize how big it is until you are in that. When you look at it from a third person's perspective, when you look at it from a distance, you actually realize that was actually a big moment for my life, a big highlight for my career. It's a it's a nice thing, actually. Traveling the world, you get to travel where you wouldn't just go on your own. You get to go to places where you didn't think you would be there, play for people who are way above you, but you are there in the same place as them, So it's a really beautiful thing. It's demanding a lot at the same time, and it has its ups and downs. But overall, the ups and downs are way better. Like they are way less than the beautiful moments that you experience there.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. So recently on our last episode, I think it's an episode that was live with Tep. I'm sure you know Tepa Diali, your friend.
Yes,
So
yes.
on that episode, there was a comment that was made by I don't know if we should mention the name, but then it's a parent of a very young star, and they also wanted to be a musician, and they were asking a question to say like if we would give them advice on to how or what they should do for their kids who want to be in the same space as people like Tepa, Boikie. Like what's your advice to kids who are up and coming in the same industry as you?
I would advise them to start now. The earlier you start with your children, teaching them what it is that you would like to see them do, it's better to start them now. And then not to forget the education that is needed. We all need education in our lives. So even if you were to chase music as a passion, in the world we live in, we all need education. So I'm not advising people to let go of education to pursue a passion. A passion will always be there. It's a talent that you have.
Yeah, true. So like what are some of the measures that you took to make sure that you succeed in this space? Like did you get a manager, artist manager, like how to get recognition to say like people like Lady Zamar for AKA
Yes.
to play with you? Like what are some of the measures that we had to partake in?
It's not. I didn't have. I don't even have a manager even now. I do everything on my own. The one thing that helped me a lot was the person who actually taught me how to play. His name is Sean Sibola. I don't know if you might know him. He was in the scene before I even came in. He's one of the people who helped me, actually connected me to people that I needed to know. When he left, when he stopped playing for Lady Zamar, he put me in to step in for him, you know. And then that was the first biggest highlight for me. I didn't have a manager. I still don't have a manager right now. It's all about I feel for me, it's who you know, connect to people you need to know so that those people can help you. We all need a helping hand at some point. So you need to have someone that can help you. Talk to people, ask people how to do things. Those people will help you a lot in the long run.
Yeah. So I remember the first time I saw you on TV. I think it was on Idols. You were playing for Lady Zamar.
Yeah.
So for me, like I was so proud to say I know that guy. I was so proud. So for you, like that moment to know that like you in a big platform like Idols, what did that impact you in any way as far as like your musicality or market? Like did you start changing in any way, or did people change?
It did change quite a few things. I can say quite a few things because people were not like people. The thing about people, when they start seeing you somewhere, they now treat you in a different way. It's a good and bad experience at the same time. Sometimes people can treat you in a good way just because they saw you on TV and then put you in a higher place in their own world. And then also it opens a lot of doors for you. When some people, when they start seeing you on TV, they didn't know you from the first time. Now they see you on a big platform like Idols, and then you get booked for bigger gigs than you had before.
Yeah. So like speaking on the same note of fame, I know like fame is one of the contributing factors to that. Did you at some point have to cut some people off your life because of the fame that came with you having to be the artist that you are today? Did you get the question? Boikie? I think we're experiencing a bit of... Can you hear me? I think it's... Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you, brother.
Yeah, I was saying, did you at any point in your life have to cut some people because of who you became?
I don't remember having to cut anyone because of the things that have changed in my life. That shouldn't cutting off people, and that's something that can actually make or break you, because you never know who you're cutting out of your life. You might cut someone who might help you tomorrow. You see, so you need as many people around you as possible. Also minding the fact that those people are actually contributing something positive to your life. If something is not contributing positively to your life, really you have to cut it off. That's a given fact. But when some people are actually positive in your life and helping you make something better of yourself, you don't have to cut those people off. No matter who you become, you need those people in your life.
True.
Yeah, bro.
So when you were coming up, now I just want to understand, like, when you were coming up, were awards a part of the conversations that you were having with fellow musicians to say, like, if I can win a Soul Train award, has that ever at any point in your life been a part of the conversation?
Honestly, I don't remember myself thinking about winning an award. It was something that I was also surprised about it, because I didn't think I'm being recognized by a person of a status as Yvonne Chaka Chaka to nominate me for an award. I didn't think of, not that I did not think of myself at that point, but I didn't think an award would be, for me it was too soon for me to get an award, because I felt like I could still make more than I have done at this moment, you see. So it was something I always, at the back of my mind. I don't remember talking to anyone about it, but I always tell myself, maybe one day I might be on TV collecting a big award, you see. So it happened that I got nominated for that award, and it was a very huge step in my life.
So I wanted to find out as well, because I was looking at the thing, what you call this, JR Feel Good Live sessions, and there was one particular guy there. I just forgot his name, who his name is. So he was like the main player, for the artists that were coming for sessions in the JR Feel Good sessions. So I also saw that guy in the event. You remember there was a time when Jay-Z and Beyonce were here, that event?
Yes, the Global Citizen.
Yeah, the Global Citizen thing. So I saw the same guy as well playing on that event. So the question now, my question, this was an internal thing to say, how does it work as far as gigs? Do you artists plug one another on gigs, or it's mainly connections to say, I know this guy and he knows that guy, or it's just that I have this gig, you can come and take? How does it work?
It goes back to the point that I made about having people around you who can help you. You know, when when you have people around you that can help you, you'll never know who talks about you when you're not there. So someone might have mentioned him to someone at some point, because everyone at some point is gonna ask, I'm looking for maybe a band. Who can I talk to for a band? That person might know a band, or might know a musician who can come together.
Yeah, true. So it's like I've seen the likes of Jonathan Butler and what they do internationally with people like Kirk Whalum. So I think platforms like Global Citizen Fest, they're a big platform, and for exposure for an artist, that's big. So for you, like, I feel, or like, is it something you want to do, to say like, I want to be in some of these great platforms so I can get international recognition? Do you have that behind, like, do you ever have those internal dialogues with yourself?
Sometimes it's a matter of some people get onto databases of record labels. Record labels have a database for musicians, actually, for musicians who, because artists are always looking for musicians. Record labels do have databases for musicians that can help whenever artists are in need of musicians, session musicians. So that also is helpful. Some artists are signed to record labels, and then before they look into musicians, they look into the databases that the record label has.
Yeah.
You see, so that also is helpful to get into that database. I'm just not sure about the process of getting into that database at the moment.
Okay, no. Thank you for that. So the question I also wanted to ask again, in regards to like record label, are you seeing yourself being a part of like the same structures that those institutes, the record labels? Because I've seen what Tshego AMG has done with like the track, is in particular where they had Nasty and some of the international guys. Is it because of the record label that happened, or it's just him pushing?
I do not have the entire like story about what happened there, but I do believe in him pushing also, because I don't know of him being signed to any record label at the moment. I know he pushes as much as he can. So I know for a fact that him pushing is what put him there. He knew someone who was part of that project, and that person knew him, so that thing automatically put him in onto that project. You understand?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
You were saying, you can just finish.
So yeah, I'm not sure about him being in a record label at this moment. So I cannot say it was because of a record label and whatnot. I just believe in him pushing his work. That's what put him there.
Yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense. So Tepa told me that he's releasing something, an EP, I think next month, July, releasing EPs. So I wanted to ask you even to say, like, is it something that are you also open to like releasing your own music, or it's just let's get like artists, let's work with those artists and push their projects, or it's more like I also want to release my own music, so the world can get to hear? Because like I take it back to Bega, because he also is a musician, right?
Yeah.
And he has music that's out. Is it something you're also looking into? It's never striking you that you should do that, maybe for exposure?
No, I actually am working on my own music at the moment to release it later this year. Hopefully, if things go according to plan, by November, I will release my first project. It's something that I encourage everyone to actually do, because it's actually important for you to be an independent artist on your own, besides being a musician for other artists. You see, it's important for you to be to have your own music that you can present to people at some point. Sometimes people want to hear music from your perspective, how you would present your music besides another artist. So it's important for you to have your own music. That's something I'm also working on. And yes, Tsepa is also working on his own music. I didn't actually find out when he's gonna release it. I just know he's working on his music, and we worked on a show together that was in Pretoria here at Boikie. He had a show where he was presenting his music there. I was working with him on that show. So I just didn't know when the music is gonna come out.
Yeah. Okay. No, I hear you. So as far as features, I want to know, like, how does the feature work? Because I hear like some artists have feature prices, and some people, because I also had, like, I was listening to an interview between Kevin Hart and Jay-Z, and Jay-Z was saying he doesn't have a feature price, he just works on relationship. So, and there's some artists who have feature prices. Like, how does it work as far as if someone wants to work with Boikie? How do they go about doing that?
Features, how do I explain this? For me, when I do features, I look at there's always a percentage of the song, where when it comes to percentages, actually, I'm talking about zamar. Zamar is a royalty collection service for South African musicians. So they collect the royalties on your behalf, and then they give them to you. I usually work on percentages, not even a price per se. I work on percentages. How much of a percentage am I gonna have on that song? And also that means a relationship with that musician also going on forward, you see. So, but then on the business side of things, I prefer having a percentage of the song, because a percentage of the song means you keep on earning from that song, even if years later, years go by, you still earn something from that song, depending on how much it's played on radio, on TV, how much is streamed on Spotify, Apple Music and whatnot, all those streaming platforms. So I prefer having a percentage of the song and a relationship with that musician rather than a price.
Okay, no, it makes sense. So I just want us to touch a bit on the business side, because I heard you were saying you're going to release something, possibly So I see some of the things tailoring that are being done internationally, we are still not doing, as far as like increasing and having multiple streams of income. So I was looking into like as far as like show, like people are just selling tickets, and now I was thinking, okay, like why are we only selling tickets, whereas we can also multiply that and have maybe match for Boikie.
True.
Have match for that, merchandise for that, and we're not only dependent on the DSP, the royalties from the DSPs. Of course, we don't rely on that. We also have that stream of income that comes from the merchandise, and we also have money coming in from the tickets that are being sold. So I'm like, is it something you're looking into also to say? Are you conscious of it to say like, well, I can also multiply and have merchandise similar to what Casper is doing with the shoe he has with Bart? So is it something you're looking into to say like, this is how we can multiply our streams of income, and this is how these funds you can also use to fund some of the shows that we are doing? Is it something that's a part of the conversation?
Yes, that's something I'm also looking into, but not at the moment, because first of all, before you can sell merchandise, and for this kind of work we do, you need numbers. You need people that you're gonna sell to. So first
Yeah,
of all, you must have the basic product that you sell to them, which is your music. From your music, you have established yourself as a brand on its own, and then
yeah,
that's when you can sell your merchandise and everything. So it is part of the conversation. It's something that I'm looking into. As soon as I am on my own, have my own music out there, then I know I'm working on a fan base that I can sell my merchandise to. Just like
yeah,
Casper has his own merchandise that he started
yeah,
later on when his music was booming, and then he had a fan base that he can sell to. You understand? Unlike focusing solely on merchandise only, then that means I'm gonna have to push the merchandise from the beginning. But
yeah,
it's all a strategy thing. Some people have a way of saying no. I would rather push the merchandise first. But in my point of view, I think it's better for me to push the one thing I'm good at, the music.
yeah,
If I can push the music first, then the merchandise will automatically sell itself when the music is out there for me. You
yeah,
understand?
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I wanted to find out again. Because I was talking to artists. Like, and what I realized is that many of the artists that are a huge portion of the artists that I've been talking to, they were speaking about how they don't have management behind them. That's why they can't get to certain places. And here you are saying you don't have a manager, and you've been in stages with like greater artists like Nofundo, Lady Zamar, and AK, just to mention a few. Like, what's the importance of having a manager or management behind you?
From what I've seen, I haven't, me personally, I haven't experienced having a manager, like personally for me. So from the
Yeah,
artists that I've worked with, a manager does a great deal of things for you. It actually depends on the amount of things that you have on your plate before you can need a manager.
yeah,
When you have a manager, the manager does the bookings for you. He looks into the admin side of things for you, the business side of things mostly for you. You don't need to now go around marketing yourself. You don't need to market your music on your own. That person is gonna do that for you. You understand? So
yeah,
it becomes pointless for me to have a manager when I do not have that much on my plate. If I can manage myself, then the time I have a manager, I know what I will need a manager for. And then you
mm,
now avoid those things where people now start people if you look at most artists that we have in the country, they are all crying about how record labels have ripped them off and
yeah,
whatnot. That comes with not being educated enough about what you're actually putting yourself into. When you
yeah,
know what's the purpose of having a manager, what's the purpose of signing into a label, they will not find it that easy to rip you off, because you know what they're supposed to do and what they're not supposed to do. You see,
yeah,
so you are already educated enough to know what you need to do and what you shouldn't do. Having a manager is important when you have a lot on your plate. You won't know that you have a lot on your plate until you are educated about the plate that you have on you.
yes, yes. No,
Yeah.
fair enough. I hear you. I hear you. Do you think, as far as like awards, do you think as far as awards, do we have awards that are celebrating people like you? Do you think we have enough of those? Because we see there's metros, there's summers, recently the Amapiano awards. Like, do you think people like you are being celebrated enough or are given the platform of exposure
Uh,
to like international markets? Do you think there's exposure behind that besides the platform Melo and Mama Yvonne has already provided already? Outside of that, do you think there's something?
I don't think there's enough that celebrates musicians that are in the background. Besides the ones that I was nominated for by Mama Yvonne, I don't think there's enough. The summers are based, the metros are based on the artists who are mostly selling enough to be recognized. According to me, it can be a different meaning to other people, but for me, I don't think session musicians like me are being celebrated enough, because sometimes you might do more work than even the artist. Not always, just sometimes. You can do more work and then not get really celebrated. Only the final product is the one that's being celebrated, because that's what's selling. Most of the time, it's what sells the most, what people know the most. That's what's being celebrated the most. So for people in the background, not much is being celebrated. I don't think in South Africa much is being celebrated for session musicians.
Do you maybe know like the reason why?
Looking into things, I would say not being the other thing about us as formal musicians, I mean as session musicians, is that we are not all of us are business minded to a point where you make yourself a brand. You transform yourself into a brand. You have your own music. Also, having your own music helps you get recognized better, because you are in the same pool as different people, a lot of people who are doing the same thing as you. But you having your own music sets you apart from everyone else, because now when you're looking for me, you can just search for me on Spotify, you can search for me on other streaming platforms, you can find me there. But when you cannot find me there, how do you now find it easy to celebrate me? You cannot. You see, now you have to find me on social media only, but when you go into my social media, you find that active also. It's difficult for you to find me, you see. So if we are business minded, that means we now have to look into things like social media, having your own music, branding yourself, having your own merchandise, as you said earlier. Those things help you stand out, so that people find it easier to find you and celebrate your work.
So it's like I had I still want to touch on the music education side of things. So I was reading on the credits of I don't know if you know the show called Everybody Hates Chris. So I was looking at the credits for the show, and I realized that there was one musician that stood out for me by the name of Marcus Mail. I'm sure you know him. So
yes,
he was part of the credits for the show. So he had a sync deal. I think it's a sync deal. So how important is educating yourself, or to put yourself in positions that favor you, like Marcus Miller has done with the sync deal with Everybody Hates Chris? Because we still watch this show even today, but understand it was released back in the 2000s or 90s or even, and you're still getting money from that. Like, how important is that?
That's it's a very important aspect of being a musician, actually. Like looking into the business side of things. For me, music education, the one thing that you must master the most is music business. If you can master music business, you can get the most out of your work. Like Marcus Miller did, he was smart enough to understand the music business, to understand that being one of the people who are in charge of the music for such a big show as that is going to benefit him in the long run. You see, that's music business. Being educated in the music business side of things, it helps you to keep on generating a revenue long after you have done that work. Even if the work is as old as you are, you're still generating money from it. It's very important for people to understand music business. I encourage all musicians and upcoming musicians to look into music business more than, and not actually more, but as much as they learn to play the instrument, learn how to do business with that instrument.
No, I hear you. Like, as far as the relationship, I want to touch on relationship, like amongst your like fellow musicians. Do you think collaborating with fellow musicians plays a role in you getting exposed or getting exposed into new markets? Say for instance, someone who's done Afro soul. Take Tepa for instance. He's been in Afro soul. Then you take people that come from background Fato. That come from background Fato. And these are like two different markets. Do you think there is an importance behind them collaborating as far as like, okay, maybe we can cross over, and when you can have my market, and when you can also have the market Afro soul, like, understand? Is that something you like when I have like the market Afro soul and I have market mapiano kapa? Is it something that you also think you make music, or when you end those collaborations with people, is it something you look into, like, okay, does business, the question is, does those business elements play into part how you can collaborate with people?
Those things are important things that you must look into. If someone else has a bigger market on some other thing that you're not doing, let's say the way you say, okay, Tepa has a bigger market on this other side that I don't have, it's important for me to collaborate with them so that I can tap into his market. That increases your fan base. It increases the amount of people you are exposed to, rather than keeping to one thing on its own only. So it limits you also. It limits your capabilities. If you know you're capable of tapping into another market, find someone that you know, or find someone that is big on that market. Collaborate with that person. For example, Mr. KG can collaborate with someone we didn't even think could do music like Master KG. And that person can boom on Master KG's market because he has a huge following. That person has gained a bigger fan base also. If I collaborate with Tepa is into doing gospel in a jazzy way. I don't usually do that much, but then because he has a bigger fan base than me on that platform, I need to be in that same space as him, so that I can also get his listeners to listen to my music also. That increases my fan base, increases my streams, it increases your revenue at the end of the day. So it's important.
It makes sense. I was looking at the interview, Black Coffee's interview, and his perspective on Mapiano, and he was saying, he's comfortable with doing the genre that he does, and he's not looking into like crossing over and do a piano. So, given that piano is booming, and in my opinion, well, Black Coffee is big, but in my opinion, I think, given that piano is growing in and out of the country, I think it's very important, even for musicians, session musicians who want to release their own stuff, maybe to release a song or two or an EP in that genre, just to get exposure, and they'll build a brand. They'll build a brand using the hype that's being generated from the music they released, which is piano. Understand? So I'm like, do you share the same sentiments as Black Coffee, where you like now I'm comfortable in doing this, I don't think I need to do that to expose myself? Or you more like, I can do that to expose myself into the new market, or I use that as as a stepping stone into what I want to build as a musician.
Yeah.
Like, which side are you on? Like, are you more on the black coffee comfortable, or
before you get comfortable? Comfortability means that where you are generating enough income for you to be okay. I'm more fixated on business side of things more than the kind of work I do. Yes, the kind of work you do is very important. It creates your identity, what people know you for. It's very important. But also, if you are upcoming like me, you need as much as you can grab. You need as many people, you need as many collaborations as you can for you to be in as many ears as possible. So for someone like Black Coffee, he's already at a point where he can say, no, I'm comfortable where I am, because I am already, like, Black Coffee is already well known globally. Everyone knows who Black Coffee is. So there's no need for him to now cross genres to say, no, I might tap into piano. There's no need for him to do that. Everyone already knows him wherever he is at this moment. So he doesn't need to be on that crossing genres, collaborating with this and that. He's comfortable where he is. Also, sometimes it's a matter of knowing, or no, I'm not there. Maybe someone can come to you and say, I'm looking for a piano beat or something. You know that you are not that kind of person who does that. You can just simply suggest someone who does that way better than you do. You understand? But as far as collaboration is concerned, I would go across all genres. As long as it helps me grow my brand, I would go everywhere. Yeah.
Okay, so we were speaking about the collaborations earlier on. So like something just came, like just stood out as I was talking to you. So as far as you saying something about we were speaking about merchandise and how we should sell merchandise. So like I'm saying now, is Boikie open to say there's an artist, say in Lesego, I have a brand here, and I do all these and designs, and I'm like, okay, Boikie, given that when you're a musician and we are building, I'm willing to create match for you, understand? And given whatever the split is, are you open to that? Or it's like, no, I want 100% ownership, I don't want anything else other than that. No. Let's have a split. When are you doing t-shirts, you're expecting that I can take 25%, you can take 75%, or like, are you open to that?
I'm definitely open to that, because for me, if I don't have any match out there that I have for my own, and then some kind of proposal, it's diversifying into something else that I didn't even think of in the first place, or I haven't even started. So if someone comes to me with that kind of proposal, I cannot take full ownership of something that is not even mine. So I'm open to having splits on how we are going to do things. You can have match for me, or match in my name, and then it's still at the end of the day your business. Now, when it's your business that I'm only honored with the privilege of being part of. I'm only part of this thing. It's not mine. So I'm willing to have a percentage. You have your percentage, no matter what percentage it is. That's negotiable. We can work that out. But the bigger goal here is for me to be in as many faces and ears as possible. If it's match, collaborating with you, I will definitely do that, as long as it helps me.
I hear you. So the reason I was asking that is like we've been talking to some of the guests that we had on the show, so who are also like, no, I'll do this in because Pepper is, when he releases, because he did say he's releasing the EP. I'm not sure if it's the EP or an album next month. So I asked him to say, like, are you open? are you going to have a live show? And he said yes. So I said, oh, okay, like Rona will come there and have a live interview, videos, cameras, everything. And before you perform, we'll have that session. We'll have that session you, then you can go out and perform. And maybe live stream the event. Maybe live stream the. So after the interview I had with Tepa, I had another guest again. He does something different. He does something different. And I asked them to say, like, are you open? Because Tepa has a show. Tepa has a show, and possibly we might be having a live stream with Tepa on the day.
Yes.
If we were to say that person is a comedian, right? So since we're now here and Tepa is a musician, are you willing to come and support Tepa in this? So, but by they follow you as a comedian, they can be exposed to music with Tepa. So the person, no, like I'm open to that. So when I said I'll propose to Tepa to say like maybe we'll have the launch music, maybe we can call it comedy meets music. Comedy meets music. And when that Tepa, you still get 100% of what the tickets are, or whatever the comedian is only there in support of your show. And when you can also do that, depending on what the arrangement is. Maybe Lena, in future they might have a show, and when you might be the one ordering, you open up. So it's comedy music. Before Tepa goes into stage, there's that comedian throwing jokes. Then we have a session from Tepa. So the reason I'm bringing this up is that I also wanted to find out from you. So if you are also open to that, should you decide to launch an album, to say like, are you open to maybe having an opening act? Maybe someone is out of the comedy spectrum or like whatever.
Yes.
Are you open to that?
Yes, I am definitely open to that. My reasons being that we all need each other to lift each other up. So you can never say it's just because it's comedy, it has nothing to do with my music, then we cannot collaborate. That comedian has a following that you do not have. So you are gonna need, you might catch a few of his following that might be interested in your music. So you need to collaborate with those people. Even if it's my show, I would love to have other musicians who I would also introduce to my fan base, so that my fan base gets introduced to them also. Someone else is growing through me. You understand? So it goes both ways. This one goes both ways. I am growing, you are also growing. So I'm featuring you in my show, or you are featuring me in your show. At the end of the day, we are both growing from each other. It's a two-way street with that one. So I'm very open to that one. I actually encourage most musicians to look into that.
So and like touching again on the issue of some of the guests that I've heard about. So there are some of the guests that are entrepreneurs that are selling sneakers. So I'll hook you up with their contacts. I'll talk to them, of course, like as far as like collaboration, and hear if maybe you can have a collaboration to say on the launch, maybe Boikie will be wearing a sneaker of that guy's brand, or like those are also like past people, those contacts. Anyone who he's doing a brand, and try and see if we can have collaborations going on and push each other to go forward.
That would be really nice, man. Thanks a lot, bro.
No, my pleasure. So going into the KK, is it fine if we can touch into what you'll be doing into your album, into what you'll be, the project that you'll be dropping later on this year? Are you fine talking about it?
It's a bit still on the tables, like still something that I'm still sketching around. So it's not something yet solid that I can say, okay, this is what I'm gonna present. But what I know for sure is that it's not gonna be something that people are expecting from me. It's gonna be a surprise for most people, and it's gonna be a very pleasant surprise. That's one thing I know. It's gonna be pleasant for music lovers across all genres. It's gonna be covering most genres that I've worked on, and yeah, actually, it's just gonna be covering most things that I've been exposed to, because I've been exposed to jazz, gospel, house, deep house, piano, Afro tech. I'm gonna try to bring all those into one thing and present what's on my mind. You see, so it's gonna be a very pleasant surprise to music lovers across all genres.
Okay, so do you have any famous features?
Not yet, but it's something I'm looking into. That's why at this moment it's still something that's gonna be a pleasant surprise, because I'm looking into features also. There's gonna be a few features on the album as well. So I'm still in talks with who I can feature at this point.
Yeah.
So whoever agrees, then that's when I'll be able to confirm. I cannot confirm at the moment.
No, okay, no, that makes sense. So like I just want to touch a bit on like personal life,
Yeah.
and try to find out to say that, because I know a lot of artists they reference Mudimu in anything they do. Like, is it the same case with you, or Mutulima?
No, yes, no, I do reference to Mudimu in everything that I do, because some of the things I cannot even pinpoint to say I did this to get this, or I was from here and then I got here from here. Some things just happened and I don't even know how they happened. But I do believe God was listening to what I've been dreaming about all this time, what I was always saying, I would love to achieve this. And then someday I wake up and I realize, oh, I actually achieved that. That means Mudimu has been there, and he has been listening to everything that I was saying all this time. So it's something that I will never compromise. It's something that I look up to for my support. And everything that I wish to accomplish in life. It's a big role in my life.
Yeah. So I just want to ask another question here. So I don't know if you follow who Jeff, is it Jeff? Yeah, it's Jeff Bezos. I don't know if you follow Jeff Bezos. So
yes.
Jeff Bezos has been with his wife from the beginning till the last days when they decided to divorce. And I think that relationship was maybe one of the reasons why he got to where he is. Is it the same with you as well? Or is it just you pushing, or there's a special woman behind who's also
there is a special lady. There is a special lady in my life that I cannot deny. I beg your pardon?
I'm saying, is she also the influence in like the music that you do, or the decisions?
Yes. And most of the things that I do, actually, she's part of them, because she helps me sometimes decide on things that I want to do. She helps me when it comes to some of the gigs that I have to do, and the financial side of things, managing myself. She's always there on those kind of things. So I do believe in being with someone from your less privileged points until you are way privileged. It's important to have a support system for you. That one is a definite one.
Yeah, no, thank you, Boikie. I've had a great conversation with you. So for someone who wants to be like Boikie, what's your advice to them?
I would advise anyone to work hard, man. Do not give up. There's always going to be a reason to give up. more than a reason to keep on going on. Do not look at the reasons for you to give up. There's always a reason something is not going to work, but don't look at that. It's something that you should look up to. You should look into only when you're looking at what might go wrong, but do not dwell too much onto that. Look at the positive side of things most of the time. Even if it's one positive, look at that one positive and focus on it.
Yeah, no, thank you. So where do people get you on social media? What are your handles on social media?
I'm Kagiso Boikie on all platforms. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and everywhere actually.
Okay. No, thank you, my brother. Have a great day, man.
Yeah, it's been nice, man. Thank you so much for hosting me.
Thank you guys for listening to the show. Catch us on our next episode of Backroom Convos with Lesego. Cheers.